My name is Daniel Ruiz, and I work the night shift at St. Yvers Hospital. Most nights are boring. Fluorescent lights humming like dying insects. Wheelchairs creaking when no one touches them. The sound of my own mop slapping the tiles in an empty hallway at 2 a.m. But sometimes, nights are something else. Sometimes they feel crowded. Every hospital janitor learns the rules. We don't get handbooks. We don't get protocol or training videos. We get rules, passed from one shift to the next by whisper. Rule number 1. Never enter the basement after 10 p.m. Last Monday, I broke that rule. And tonight, I'm going to tell you what really waits under St. Yvers. If you're wise, you'll listen. If you're not, well, you'll find out for yourself. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of stories that will make you question whether you're truly alone right now. You're listening to Silent Scream Chronicles. Do well to subscribe, share, and hit the like button for more tales to come. And also let me know where you're listening from in the comments. The night started like every other. 9:20 p.m. I clocked in, grabbed my cart, and made my rounds. The hallways in the West Wing always smelled like cheap disinfectant mixed with old coffee. The kind nurses leave half full on the counters before rushing off to emergencies. The only movement came from the flicker of lights overhead. The hospital was old. Built in 1963, abandoned in the 80s, reopened in 2007. You could still feel the age in its bones. The walls hummed with electricity, but beneath that hum, something else breathed. Something slow, something patient, but I ignored it like I always did. The basement was usually clean during the day, so the night shift stayed far away from it. Not because of ghosts. Okay, maybe a little because of ghosts, but mostly because it was cold, damp, and smelled like rusted pipes. Ugh. Every janitor gets told the same thing on their first night. Never go down there after 10. The hospital changes. Nobody explained what that meant. Nobody needed to. You could feel it. I was sweeping outside the pediatric unit when my radio crackled. The voice was faint, fainter than normal. Like whoever was speaking was far underground, talking through a long metal pipe. Unit 7 basement. Hall C, cleanup needed. I clicked the button. This is Unit 7. Say again. Static. Soft pop. URG cleanup. Hall C. Then silence. I glanced at the wall clock. 9:47 p.m. 13 minutes left. Close. But doable. I'd been to Hall C before, but only in daylight. It wasn't actually in use anymore. Just old renovation storage. They'd sealed most of it off years ago. Probably a pipe burst or a spill. Easy fix. I exhaled, grabbed my cart, and headed for the service elevator. As I rolled the cart inside, the doors shut with a metallic groan. Basement. The button lit up weakly. The elevator lurched downward. Every floor we passed made the air colder. By the time the doors opened, my breath fogged the air. 9:55 p.m. I had 5 minutes. 5 minutes to handle whatever was waiting in Hall C and get out. I stepped into darkness. Not dimness. Not low light. Pure swallowing black. My flashlight barely pushed the dark aside. It felt like the beam itself was afraid to go forward. The walls sweated moisture. Water dripped overhead in slow, steady taps that echoed down the length of the corridor. The basement always felt empty. But that night, felt occupied. Like something had woken up the moment I stepped off the elevator. I pushed the cart forward, wheels squeaking. Left turn. Straight down. Then right into Hall C. The deeper I went, the colder the air became. Then my light hit something on the floor. Trail. Dark. Viscous. Like someone had spilled oil or blood. It led deeper into Hall C. Hall C ended with a heavy steel door. One I'd never seen before. It had rusted hinges and a frame warped like something had tried to force it outward. A paper sign hung crookedly on the front. Morgue, Sublevel B. But we didn't have a Sublevel B morgue. St. Yvers had only one morgue, on the other side of the hospital. This one wasn't on the blueprints. The dark trail seeped under the door like it was trying to escape. I checked the clock again. 9:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Just look. Report. Leave. I reached for the handle. It was warm. Warmer than it should have been in a place as cold as a freezer. Pulled. The door groaned open. A wave of cold fog burst out, swallowing my ankles. Inside, the darkness felt thicker. Almost physical. My flashlight flickered. Then steadied. Enough to reveal overturned gurneys. Rusted scalpels. Broken glass. Footprints. Human. Fresh. Leading to a body drawer. One of the metal ones used to store corpses. It sat half open, as if something inside had tried to climb out but ran out of strength. I took a shaky step closer. The drawer rattled. Not violently. Not abruptly. Slowly. As though something inside was trying to wake up. I whispered, "Hello." The drawer went still. My heart slammed in my chest. My breath froze in my throat. I should have left. I should have turned around. I should have obeyed the rule. But something kept me in place. A morbid curiosity. A need to know what was inside. I leaned closer. The flashlight flickered again. Inside the drawer. Something moved. Hand emerged. Gray. Wrinkled. Fingers twice as long as normal. They curled around the edge of the drawer. I stumbled backward. The hand tightened its grip. And a voice, soft and wet, whispered from inside. "You're early." My flashlight died. I dropped everything, mop, cart, radio, and ran. My footsteps thundered down the hallway, echoing off concrete walls. Behind me, something crawled out of the drawer with a wet, dragging sound. I didn't need to look. I could feel it following. The maintenance stairs were close, closer than the elevator. I shoved the door open, launched myself up the steps. Something hit the stairwell door from the other side. Hard. Metal bent outward. It shouldn't have. I climbed faster, chest on fire, legs shaking. The creature dragged its nails down the metal, slow and methodical, like it wasn't hunting. It was playing. I reached the first floor, burst through the door and slammed it shut. The hallway lights flickered overhead. Then died. Froze. The hospital had gone silent. All machines. All alarms. All voices. Then came the whisper. From behind the stairwell door. Hovering between reality and nightmare. 10 o'clock. I checked the clock on the wall. 10 p.m. exactly. The rule had broken. Or maybe broke it. And whatever lived down there knew. When the lights flickered back on, the hospital was different. The hallways felt stretched, longer than they should have been. The walls pulsed faintly like veins beneath skin. A cold draft swept through, carrying the smell of old blood. Nurses stood frozen mid-step. Patients slept with eyes open. Monitors hummed low, steady tones. It wasn't like the power went out. It was like time did. I backed away, trembling. A shape moved at the far end of the hallway. Slender. Bent at unnatural angles. It crawled along the wall like a spider, limbs clicking. Eyes glowing faintly beneath stretched skin. It opened its mouth wider than any human jaw could. And whispered. "You opened the door." Then every door in the hallway slammed shut at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. One by one. As if the entire hospital was locking me in. I turned and ran. It followed. Its limbs skittering, scraping the walls like claws on glass. All the emergency exits were sealed. All elevators died. Every hallway twisted back toward one place. The basement. It wanted me back. It wanted me to finish what I started. And as I stood at the top of the stairs, staring down into the blackness below, I finally understood the rule. Not because it was superstition. Not because it was tradition. But because someone who didn't make it out, must have learned it the hard way. My radio crackled once more. The same voice from before whispered, but clearer this time. "Daniel, run." And then, a step, right behind me. If you're tuning in now, you need to understand something. I didn't go into that basement because I was brave. I went because someone called me. Someone who shouldn't exist. Someone who whispered up from a morgue that isn't on any hospital map. I made it out. But the thing I found down there, the thing that clawed its way out of that drawer, followed me. It didn't stay behind. And last Monday, I learned it can do more than crawl in the dark. Can wear faces, including mine. The footsteps behind me were soft. Too soft for the long-limbed creature I had seen crawling on the wall. Too soft for something with joints that bent the wrong way. Too soft for whatever had whispered my name in a voice like wet soil. I turned slowly, breath-shaking. A figure stood at the top of the stairwell. Person. Janitor. Me. Same uniform. Same ID tag. Same mop-splattered boots. Same tired, sunken eyes. But not the same. It was smiling. I don't smile, at least not like that. Not a full, toothy grin stretching ear to ear. Not a smile that looked stapled on. Who? I stammered. What are you? The copy tilted its head in a perfect imitation of curiosity. Then it blinked. The sound was wrong. A wet click like eyelids made of damp cloth. You left the door open, Daniel. His voice was mine. Every syllable. Every scrape of breath. But underneath, faint and scratching, was another voice. The creature's voice. The one from the drawer. Time me to trade. I backed toward the stairs, heart slamming in my chest. No. No, stay back. Stepped closer. 1 foot. Then another. Not walking. Sliding. Like its legs weren't attached right. I turned and ran down the first-floor corridor. Hospital doors slammed shut on their own as I passed, sealing rooms like coffins. The lights flickered overhead, pulsing in time with my heartbeat. Behind me, the thing wearing my face came after me. Footsteps smudging and doubling, like it had too many legs and not enough bones to control them. It didn't breathe hard. Didn't grunt. Didn't gasp. It just whispered softly. Stop running, Daniel. We only want to fix what you broke. I rounded a corner and nearly crashed into a nurse. She stood motionless in the hallway, mid-step, mid-blink. Her pupils were dilated, fully black, frozen in time. I grabbed her shoulders. Please wake up. Nothing. The hospital wasn't empty. It was paused, except for me. In it. I reached the central hub where all the units connect. Normally lively. Now dead still. A soft hum came from the overhead speakers. The same lullaby from the basement. Low. Like a song played backward underwater. My radio crackled. Static, then a voice. Faint, trembling. Daniel, don't trust it. My blood ran cold. It was my voice. But this one wasn't twisted. This one sounded terrified. Where are you? I whispered. Not me. Not in me. Behind the walls. Hurry. Then static. Then silence. A second later, the floor beneath me pulsed, like something moved under the tiles. Live. Wait. The hospital was shifting around me. Hallways stretching. Doors rearranging. Like the whole building was breathing and twisting to lead me back where it wanted me. The basement. I didn't understand why. Not yet. I ducked into a supply room and locked the door behind me. My chest heaved, breaths shallow and sharp. The room smelled like bleach and rubber gloves, comforting scents compared to what lurked outside. Footsteps approached. Low. Deliberate. My footsteps. They stopped in front of the door. And knocking. 3 slow knocks. Daniel. My voice. We don't have to do this. I pressed my back to the wall, eyes burning. The handle rattled. You left the door open. Something escaped. Now something must replace it. I clamped my hands over my ears. Stop. Stop. The door fell silent. For a moment. Then a whisper slid under the crack. A whisper that wasn't mine. A whisper from the basement. From the drawer. Switch. A long finger. Gray, too thin, too long, slid under the door. I backed away, trembling violently as it scraped across the tiles, searching for me. Scream. Not human. Raw, animalistic. The finger yanked back. The footsteps retreated rapidly, like something had startled it. Silence. Something else was down here. Something the creature feared. The overhead lights flickered out. Total blackness swallowed the supply room. Then the intercom crackled. A whisper. Female. Weak. Trained. Daniel. Hall B. Who are you? Breathe. Hurry. I unlocked the door, pulse pounding in my ears. Hall B was close. A narrow corridor used mostly by interns. I rushed toward it, my flashlight trembling in my grip. Something moved behind the walls. Slithering, scraping, crawling. Not the creature wearing my face. Something bigger. I stepped into Hall B. And froze. A woman stood at the far end. Hospital gown. Bare feet. Skin pale, translucent. Veins like black roots under the surface. She raised one finger to her lips. Quiet. Voice. It was the same voice from the radio. You called me, I whispered. She nodded weakly. Her eyes flickered toward the ceiling, terrified. It can't know I'm helping you. What is it? Asked. The woman's face contorted. Not in anger but sorrow. Not one thing. Many. Everything that dies in this place stays. Every rule broken adds another piece to them. My heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. She pointed behind me. Turned slowly. The hallway was distorting. Walls bending inward. Lights melting into the ceiling. Like the building was trying to swallow me. You need to see Sublevel B, she whispered. The real one. There's no Sublevel B, I said, shaking my head. She stepped closer. Her eyes weren't exactly human. They shimmered faintly like reflections on dark water. There is. But only after 10. The woman pressed a cold hand against the wall. The tiles rippled. Like liquid. A door appeared. Rusted. Just like the one in Hall C. The label on it read. Sublevel B. Restricted access. My stomach twisted. Why me? I whispered. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Because you opened the door. Behind us, a scream echoed down the corridor. The creature wearing my face. It was coming. Yes. Go, she urged. Before it finds you again. What about you? Asked. She smiled faintly, sadly. I never left. I didn't want to understand that. I still don't. She pushed me toward the rusted door. What waits down there will explain everything. The walls shook again, harder. Footsteps thundered closer. My footsteps. My voice screamed. Deani Ailil. I grabbed the handle and yanked the door open. Cold air exploded outward. The woman's face twisted in terror. Run! I plunged into darkness. The door slammed shut behind me. I stood in a stairwell that spiraled downward into blackness. No lights, no sounds. Only the icy breath of something ancient drifting upward. A sign hung crooked on the wall. Painted in smeared red. Sublevel B. Do not enter. Do not open. Do not wake them. My flashlight flickered. Footsteps echoed below. Not the creatures. Not human. Something else. Something older than the hospital. Something waiting. And as I descended the first step, the air whispered. You should have left the door closed. If you followed this far, then you know what I know. Once you break the basement rule, the hospital doesn't let you go. Not really. Marks you. Follows you. It learns you. When I opened that door in Hall C, something crawled out. Something that now wears my face like a borrowed mask. But what I didn't know then, what I know now, is that the thing wearing me is only one piece. There are many pieces, and they all live in Sublevel B. The place that shouldn't exist. The place I entered when I ran from the thing that sounded like me. The place I'm walking deeper into. Right now. The stairwell wound downward in tight spirals. Too narrow, too steep, like it was built in a hurry or carved by something not meant to walk upright. My flashlight shook in my hand. Every step I took felt like I was descending into something's open throat. The walls were damp, breathing, subtle but real. Far below, footsteps echoed. Not in rhythm. Not human. Like someone dragging multiple limbs across the ground. Kept going. After 7 flights, the concrete changed color. Darker. Almost charred. A metal sign hung crookedly on the wall. Sublevel B. Experimental wing. Shut down 1989. But the hospital was renovated in 2007. This place was never reopened. So why was it waiting for me? At the bottom, a long corridor stretched out endlessly, lit by flickering lights that buzzed like flies trapped in glass. The smell was overwhelming. Not death. Not decay. Something worse. Like time that had rotted. Doors lined the hallway. Some open. Some shut. Each with a nameplate. Names I recognized. M. Rogers. Night janitor. 1991. Missing. A. Kelly. Night maintenance. 1978. Missing. J. Torres. Night staff 2003. Missing. Every missing person was someone who broke the rule. I stepped closer to one open door. Inside was a tiny room, no larger than a janitor's closet. On the floor sat a man. Or the remains of a man. Gray. Shriveled. Alive. Barely. His eyes were open and moving, tracking me. His lips cracked apart. Another one. They sent another one. I swallowed hard. What is this place? He tried to raise a hand but couldn't. Feeding ground. For them. For the ones after 10. A shuddering breath escaped his lungs. Did you open a door, boy? My throat tightened. Yes. His eyes softened with a terrible kind of pity. Then you invited them out. And now you must take your room. I stumbled back, heart hammering. But the corridor lights flickered violently. Something was coming. Something big. The man whispered one last warning. Run. I sprinted down the hallway. Behind me, something dragged itself along the floor. Fast, scraping metal against concrete. Not the creature wearing my face. Not the long-fingered thing. Something larger. The lights overhead exploded one by one as it got closer. The darkness was swallowing the corridor behind me like a rolling wave. Move! I gasped at myself. Move! I turned into another hall. This one unlit, a black tunnel. My flashlight cut a thin path through the dark. And illuminated dozens of body drawers lining the walls. Each drawer had a name scratched onto it. My beam passed over them. Worth, Kelly, Rogers, Lee, Becky. Every missing night worker. Every person who ignored the basement rule. They weren't lost. They were catalogued. Or, waiting. Something scratched inside one drawer. Low. Deliberate. Kept walking, breath trembling. Halfway down the hall, one drawer slid open an inch. Then 2. Then fully. Hand reached out. Long. Gray. Familiar. It gripped the edge. And I pulled myself out. Or, the thing wearing me did. It stepped fully into the light. My face. My clothes. My posture. But its movements were wrong. Too smooth. Too liquid. Too empty. Smiled at me. Trade time. Stay back, I whispered, though my legs were shaking so bad I wasn't sure I could run. The creature copied the tremble. Mocking me. Learning me. Then it spoke. My exact tone, my exact cadence. Daniel. You never should have opened that door. My door. Spat. You were the one waiting behind it. It tilted its head. No. Not me. Us. The walls pulsed. From the darkness inside the drawers came quiet breathing. Multiple. Dozens. Hundreds. The creature stepped closer. You opened the door for all of us. Now a replacement must stay behind. My skin crawled. Replacement. The creature smiled wider, jaw cracking unnaturally. One must stay in sublevel B so the rest can roam above. I pointed at a drawer behind me. A drawer with a name scratched into it. Name. Daniel Ruiz. Janitor. Reserved. My stomach dropped. No. No, I'm not. A scream echoed down the hallway. Not human. Not the creatures. The woman staggered around the corner. Her eyes were wide with terror. Daniel, move. The creature wearing me shrieked, high and unearthly. The woman grabbed my wrist and yanked me down a side hallway. We ran. Behind us, the creature howled. Sound like metal tearing. Things inside the drawers began to crawl out. Dozens of them. All wrong. All unfinished. All hungry. We reached a massive metal door marked Sublevel B. Central holding. The woman slammed her hand against the panel. The door hissed open. Inside was a cavernous room. Dark except for a single tank-like structure in the center. A metal cylinder with dozens of monitors attached. Green lights flickering. Wires snaking like veins. The woman dragged me inside and sealed the door. Her chest heaved with effort. "What is this place?" I demanded. She looked at the tank. Her reflection warped on the metal surface. A machine. Built to hold them in one place. A prison for everything the hospital didn't want to explain. My voice cracked. Why did it let me out? Why did it send something wearing me? I turned. Her eyes glowed faintly. Because someone opened the wrong door. And you didn't close it. Hit me. The voice on my radio. Calling me to Hall C. Was that you? I whispered. Her expression hardened. I tried to warn you. But something else reached you first. A deep rumble shook the floor. The door behind us bent inward. Metal screeched. The creature wearing me was forcing its way in. The woman grabbed the main control lever on the machine. There's one way to fix this. The door must be closed from the inside. Froze. No, you said someone has to stay. You meant a replacement, she said softly. Someone alive. Someone they will obey. Backed away. I can't stay here. I can't. She opened the cylinder. Inside was darkness. Not empty. Alive. Moving. The things inside whispered. Daniel. The woman stepped forward as the metal door cracked open behind us. The creature's hand reaching through. Go, she said. Run. But you said. Run. She shoved me backward. Into the hallway. The metal door slammed shut behind me. Her scream. Her real human scream. Code once. Then silence. Creatures spilled into the hallway. Gray bodies, long limbs, unfinished faces. Ran. The corridor shifted under my feet. Walls tightening like a throat closing. The stairwell appeared ahead. I sprinted up. 3 flights. 4. 7. Something grabbed my ankle. Kicked hard. Shriek. Let go. The stairwell lights flickered as I climbed. Then I burst into the first floor. The hospital was normal. Bright. Busy. Alive. Time had started again. Nurses walked calmly. Machines beeped. Orderlies carried charts. No one saw me collapse on the floor. No one saw the shadows slip behind the stairwell door. No one heard the faint whisper under the hospital hum. We'll come back for you. I quit that night. I moved across the city. I sleep with the lights on. But last morning, a letter slid under my door. No return address. No handwriting. Just a card. Yellowed. Smelling faintly of disinfectant. On the front, typed in fading ink. Sivers Hospital, night staff rules. Inside was a single line. Rule number 1. Never enter the basement after 10 p.m. And below it, handwritten in red. You never closed the door. I dropped the card. My apartment lights flickered. Something moved in the corner of the room. Long-limbed, familiar. And a voice. My voice. Whispered from the dark. Trade time. If you want more dark cinematic horror stories like this, like, subscribe and turn on notifications, so the shadows know where to find you. And remember, rules exist for a reason. Breaking them always comes with a cost.